Hi, everyone. I'm Cheryl Carr, your work doctor, and this is the Achieve with Dr. C broadcast. Happy Monday. Happy end of August. Happy everything, I guess, today. I'm just really happy. So, I'm coming on today to talk to you about a subject that has been very important to me these last several weeks as I've worked with helping people rebuild their lives and even helping myself to recover, regain, and reestablish myself to make sure I end this 2022, which has been a good year compared to 2020 and 2021. Woo, I think we can all agree on that one. But I wanted to make sure I finished my year strong, but finish my year authentically balanced. And I'm trying to teach that to myself and also helping others as my clients. And I do want to start this broadcast off making my attorney happy by letting you know that this is not to substitute medical, mental, emotional, or spiritual counseling that you need. This is advice. This is just so I can share my personal opinion and to make sure I share information to help others. That's all I want to do. Good morning, Sharon. Thank you for joining me. I wanted to talk today about pretense. It's a loaded subject, it's a loaded word, but to let you know, the definition of pretending is behaving in a manner as if something is true that is not. Did you catch that? That's what pretense is. And I want to give you a quote that I love by Michael Lee. And it says, if you want to be happy, don't do something you don't like. Don't say something you don't mean. Pretending and lying to yourself only breeds unhappiness. I love that quote because it's pretty plain, it's pretty simple, but it hits you right in the face about how much you might be pretending in life. I believe social media has gotten us all to this point of pretending, acting as if, putting on a brave front, making sure we manage the image of success while failing. And there's so much effort and energy put into looking like something as opposed to being like something. I know God never tells us anywhere in His Word to try anything. He says, be holy because I'm holy. He tells us to be the things that He created us to be. Only the world and our enemy of our souls makes us pretend, forces us into acting as if something is acceptable that it's not. We go along to get along. And if we don't do that, the opposite of that is we don't like anything. We spend our whole lives pretending we're hard, we're unaffected, we're strong, we don't need other people, we don't need rest. We work ourselves into distraction, running to and fro, trying to save everything and everybody without realizing rest is a commandment, not a suggestion. It's one of the 10 commandments to rest. I hope somebody is listening and catches that. But you can't experience happiness through the filter of inauthenticity or pretense. And I submit to you today, you can sit and think to yourself, do you really like your job? Are you really happy? Everything that you post Is it really that great a time? I have found when I'm having an authentic great time, I don't even think about pictures. I'm enjoying real life. We've gotten so social media conscious. I know I do. I do it as a distraction, as a relaxing. But I want you today to think with me how much in your life you legitimately, authentically are experiencing. Do you even feel, or are you numb? Do you even really think the way you pretend to think at all? Or are you somebody you're completely not? I'm going to tell you something about me that I've had to learn. I'm too much for most, and I'm okay with that. I used to let it bother me, and I used to shrink myself down and listen to other people that would tell me, oh, it don't take all that. I don't need that. Well, that's you, and good for you. I have to do what's right for me. Now, I want to offer a caveat or a caution. I'm not talking about being obnoxious and pushing yourself onto other people. I'm not telling you live your truth no matter what nobody says. I'm telling you the complete opposite. Because when you're authentic, you don't have to apologize. When you're authentic, you speak the truth in love. When you're authentic, you understand people aren't against you, they're just for themselves. And you don't take things personal. And you can stay happy and positive when you're living your life the best way you know how without any pretense. When you're unhappy, when you experience grief and things in life, you learn that's life and you have to move on. You can't stay there. Good morning, fam. How are you, cousin? This that I'm telling you, I think has been worsened because of social media access and social broadcasting access and the ability to present an image through pictures, which are a moment in time, that you can pretend to be something or pretend to succeed or pretend to have it all together. There's so many voices coming on giving people advice when their lives are raggedy and a mess. People being life coaches when they need to coach their own life first. I am authentically telling you things I do for myself, ways I think for myself that I just share with you, hoping it catches someone in a weak moment that they need to build themselves back up. Again, I'm talking about rebuilding your life. Now, it doesn't take a whole lot of courage. You don't have to be brave to pretend. You just have to pick out what you're going to pretend you're like. Like if you want to pretend you're strong, you just have to put on that persona, that mask. And then you walk around as if everything's okay and nothing affects you. You don't have to talk to anybody. You're not hurting. You don't have to heal. You got it all together. You're strong. Not true. Nobody is all one way all the time. And there's no reason to pretend. If you're grieving, you're grieving. If you're hurt, you're hurt. If you're disappointed, you're disappointed. And there's so much more to teach about authentically experiencing your feelings. But the first thing I have to do with people is flip the emotional switch back on because most of us have numbed out. That is something as a function of the brain in trauma or crisis is to wind down pleasure or experiencing anything. It's like you become cocooned. And your brain, your emotions, everything, that cerebral cortex just kind of numbs itself and shuts itself down. So you stay midline. You have no highs, you have no lows. And then if you do that long enough, you don't feel anything. You have feelings. Now, don't want to tell you we all become narcissistic, criminalized narcissistic behavior. I'm just telling you that you can numb yourself out to where nothing really matters and you're just existing and you're going day to day, and today looks like yesterday and tomorrow looks like today. That's no way to live. And stopping pretending is one of the first ways that you can incrementally begin to live a better life and rebuild yourself up emotionally, mentally, financially, career wise, everything that you might be experiencing that you've numbed yourself out to and not feeling good enough. So you pretend. You can fix that by stopping pretending. And it takes courage to do this. It's very costly to pretend. It costs you the ability to experience both emotions and feelings, which I taught on several weeks ago. If you didn't listen to that broadcast, please go back to my YouTube, go back on my Facebook, Dr. Cheryl Facebook page, listen to the 3 differentiations of how we experience the world through emotions, feelings, and moods. And many of us are in a mood of blah. And we're just getting up each day, facing life. Each day runs into the next. And we pretend we're fine. And it's okay not to be okay. You're not strong, that nothing affects you. You don't need anybody. That is not true. And don't tell yourself that lie. I've even stopped those posts I used to post about, being self sufficient. I need people. Get really sick. You go find out you need people and you need people who love you. So stop pretending you don't need others. But what you need is healthy, nurturing relationships. And you can't have those being fake and being hard, unaffected. Nobody gets to you. You can cut people off and move on with your life and not feel a thing. Well, some of us are dysfunctional. Like that's a dysfunction. Okay. So, in order to wake up, to be who you are and feel what you really feel, I've got some tips for you. Okay. First, be honest with yourself. I always tell people, especially people in grief, to go through the process of grieving. You really are not yourself. And you're not the best person to tell yourself the truth about what you're going through. You need a trusted, loved advisor in your life to tell you where you are, to call out, no, you're not yourself. I'm grateful I finally listened to people. And that's how I got out of a lot of messes when I started telling myself the truth, that I was hurting, that I wasn't happy, that the life I was living was not what I wanted, and that I needed to learn better so I could do better. Telling myself I needed other people. I'm a loner who likes people, but I'm a loner. I'm an ambivert in behavior, how I socially interact with the world. I can take people socially. I can be all by myself weeks on end, months on end, and not be bothered. But that's my natural disposition. I had to learn to not pretend I don't need people. So the first thing is be honest with yourself. Tell yourself the truth. The second thing is understand who you are. Get some self awareness. What are your natural bends? And if it's so cluttered under pretense, you're going to need professional help to untangle that, to tune you back into who you are, how you think, not how they told you to think, not how you had to learn to think because you're in crisis and surviving. That may not be who you really are. That may be who you've learned to pretend to be so you can get through. Survival and trauma, really hard to heal from if you keep pretending you're never hurt or if you're still surviving. If you're still in a situation that is a constant crisis and pressure and disappointment and hurt, it's really, really hard to heal. But you can get professional help. And the last thing that I want to ask you to do is to learn what I broadcast the last time I was able to get on. And that's how to look at life with a positive expression of whatever's going on inside of you. Learn your own self talk enough to tell yourself the truth, to be honest with yourself, but then how to frame that outside of society's norm, outside of your own natural bent that we all have towards what's negative. You can do that a lot of ways. One of the first things I tell people to do, stop watching the news. Just cut it off. It is a realistic depiction of the most depraved society has to offer. And I tell you that because some people feed on the news all day long, all day, every day. They have to find out what's going on all over the world. Well, we weren't made for that. Our brains weren't created for that. We are inundated with information and people trying to tell us what to do, where to go, what to think, what to wear, what to eat. It's incessant and it's breaking us down. So turn off the news, limit your social media. Most of us with these phones, you can set digital well-being on your devices and monitor the time you spend in social media, the time you spend listening to things. Learn to frame your life with positivity, and not much of the world and not much on social media is positive. I get to a mode on social media where it's babies, food, and comedy. I don't want to look at nothing else. I don't want politics. I'm not following people that maybe their lives seem so together that it's a pressure on me. I'm authentic enough to say, I'm not going to look at that person. I'm not watching celebrities and all that. I follow very few of them. They have image management. They have people to make us look at them. They're always perfect. The hair is done, the makeup's done, their clothes are perfect. They wear all the latest designers. They have all the money in the world. They're traveling globally. They're everywhere. Everything is great, great, great. Well, that's not realistic. It's not realistic. So I'm saying this to say, please be honest with yourself. Tell yourself the truth. Hi, Heather. Tell yourself the truth. Hey, sis. Good morning, Victoria. How are you? Tell yourself the truth. Dig down. Find out what's your self talk. How are you framing things in your mind and in your spirit? Are you negative right now? Are you depressed right now? Is life just kicking your butt? It can. We've all been there. I'm glad you're good, sis. Keep doing great. And the final thing I want you to do is turn stuff off. Turn the volume of the world off. Turn the volume of what you've been feeding yourself. If it's Netflix, turn that off. If it's the news, turn that off. If it's other people gossiping and filling you in on everybody's life, turn that off. Stop pretending. Be brave. Hey, Selena, it was so good to see you yesterday. Hi, thanks for joining. I'm finished. The great thing about these broadcasts is I leave it where you can watch it and replay. It also has the text, so you can even watch it at work, turn the volume down and listen or read. And I'm telling you this because I'm seeing a lot of people in my practice that nobody knows they're in misery. Everybody thinks they're fine, especially those of us in leadership and management. We have to act like everything's all right. So stop pretending. Be brave. Okay? Can you do that? I'm Cheryl Carr, your work doctor. This is the Chief with Dr. C broadcast. I hope you'll join me next time. I hope to have my guest, Casey Richardson, on finally. But like I said, she's in Nigeria, so it's going to be really hard to get her on the air. Okay? Have a great one. I'll join you guys. It'll probably be lunchtime. I'm finding if I take my lunch, I can do these broadcasts. I don't always get to take a lunch, though. So, anyway, I hope you guys have a great day. I'll see you next time. Bye.